Today we're going to talk about something that is very important to me, very cool, and it's a way that you can gain greater freedom in your life. But I want to begin first with this. This is an optical illusion, and I want you to look at it and see, can you see anything within those lines? Go ahead and take a minute, just look at it. Some of you lucky few, you'll be able to see something in there, maybe if you're looking at it from a distance, but others of you, if you're looking at it really up close, it's going to be a little hard. So I'm going to help you out a little bit. Can you see it now? Can you see the panda? Yeah. So what does this mean? I show you an illusion. I tell you that I'm going to talk about something that brings you greater access to freedom. Well, I start off with this illusion because there's an illusion that our society has created. This illusion has to do with this number, 66. Now, I don't put this number up here to say that it's 6 times 11, or maybe it's the number of cookies that Cookie Monster can eat on an episode of Sesame Street, or, maybe it's how old Jackie Chan is. I don't show you this number because of that. I show you the number 66 because this has to do with an age. This has to do with an age. The age is the time at which society or the American government will give you your Social Security. Now that can mean a lot of different things. I take that as meaning that is the age at which society says, okay, you've worked your whole life, here you go, you can finally retire and have a few years of relaxation before you die. Is there a problem with that? Not inherently, it just depends on how you look at it. So, my purpose today is showing you freedom. It all has to do with retiring early, or gaining that freedom to retire early, to have that choice. So I'm going to talk to you today about something called van life, or maybe even ambulance life, or bus life. But to make things simple, I'm just going to refer to everything as van life. I'm going to talk about 3 different ways that van life will bring you that freedom to retire early. The first way we're going to talk about is how it helps you to save money. The second way is going to be how it helps you to simplify your mind. And the third way is how it helps you to free yourself to be able to innovate. That comes from time. So, money, simplicity, and time. And these 3 will all help you to be able to retire early. Okay, let's begin. So, we have our money, we know that we want to keep our life simple, and we know that we want to get that freedom to innovate. We know that certain times of life we don't really want to work. Work makes it so that we can be able to have money, to be able to buy nice things like a car or a really nice house. But do you really need all of those things? And that's the point of this illusion. See, this illusion is that we need to have a ton of money to be able to retire. We need to be able to have a lot of things to be able to retire. That's not true. We need to zoom out and see the picture. We need to see the panda. So, we've got our money. Money is the first benefit. So, how does van life help us save money? Let's start with an apartment. College students. In Provo, Utah, minimum you'd probably be paying around $750. That's what my wife and I pay for. Our apartment is $750. Rent just went up last year, and it's $750 now. And let's say that you spend an average of $100 for your utilities a month. That's not too bad. $850. Apartments can go up to $1,100. So $850. Oh, I don't know. That's really not that bad when you consider that you can make around maybe $2,000 in a normal job working part-time in a month. So Then you've got, let's say gas. This is what my wife and I budget for gas a month. We don't really drive that much. You might drive more. But those are 3 core expenses that go into just everyday living. Now let's take a look at van life. Now keep in mind these are all simplified. You're going to have $0 for rent every month. $0 for rent. You don't have to pay once you buy your van and deck it out. You don't have any rent expense. Now the downside to this is you do have to foot the bill out front to pay for a van. But I'm not going to talk about that in this presentation. You'll have to watch one of my other presentations. So then let's say that your utilities cost $40 a month. You can hook up your van with some nice solar panels, and those will help with your heating and air conditioning and your lights, so that really you can use propane for the oven, maybe heating, and it really doesn't cost nearly as much as your utilities for your house. It's a lot smaller of a space, so you don't have to spend as much money on it. Then let's say you spend $150 in gas. That's probably pretty generous, because if you have a van, you can take it other places. So let's make that $250. So let's say you spend $250 on gas a month. Now, let's look at the totals that we've got here. So for the apartment, you've got $930 a month just for your basic expenses, no groceries. And then for your van, $290 a month. That's an astronomical difference. That money, that extra $740, you can invest that. You can put that other place, you can save it, you can do whatever you want with that. That much money, it's just going away every month. So, that is money, the first step. Money. Van life will help you to save money, and it will allow you to retire early. So, the second step, you might not think is inherently, it has to do with retiring early, but this is really simple. It has to do with this quote: fill your life with experiences, not things. Have stories to tell, not stuff to show. Life isn't about things, life is about people. So, do you really need a really big apartment right now in your life when maybe you don't have any kids, or you're not even married? Do you really need all those little trinkets that you put on your shelf? You have to ask yourself these questions, because life can get complex really fast. Your mind can be pulled to all of these different levels of complexity, and then you don't have enough time to think, you don't have enough time to be simple, to just be. The Buddha once said, the root of suffering is attachment. And attachment can come from many different things, and it can come from physical objects. Van life helps you to simplify, because you have a lot smaller of a space. You don't have as many things that you can bring into your life, because you don't have a place to put them, which frees your mind to be able to put it in other directions, to exercise it in other areas, so that when you are retiring, it's like you're retiring early. Your mind is more apt, your mind is more simple, and you're not caught up in all of the busyness of living. That leads us to our third item, which has to do with the freedom to innovate. Innovation. Where does innovation come from? There's a story of a man who he started a job at a company, and he was walking down the hallway, and he walks past the room of this old worker there. He's been working there for 25 years, and he's just chilling there, leaning back in his chair, his foot up on his desk, and he's like, dang, that's not good. Like, how is this guy still working here? He's been here forever. And so he goes to the CEO, because this guy's high up. He's like, hey, man, I've walked past this guy every morning, and every morning he's just chilling his feet up on his desk. And the CEO looks at him, and he says, I am not going to fire this man, because he found a solution to the answer that saved this company while he was in that position, while he was sitting there thinking. So, with that, van life helps you save money, which helps you, it also helps you simplify your life, so you're not bringing in so many objects. which helps you free up your time, freedom of time, so you can innovate, so you can think, so that you can be who you are meant to be, not who somebody else tells you that you have to be. So, you have freedom to innovate. It allows you to not be tied down to debt. A lot of people go through college and they get a lot of debt. I'm currently not in debt, but I just imagine, I have siblings that are in debt, and I just imagine that the chains that feels like, where your mind is constantly focused on that. Imagine the freeing feeling when you don't have to be there, because you don't need all of those things, you don't need all those objects. So, think about this number, 66.